Today, I have planned a practice that really focuses on sides. And in the physical sense, this means that we will focus on releasing a lot of side body areas. So, everything from the outer hips and the IT band um, through the QL and the lats and the serratus, so all the stuff on the side here, which will hopefully help any of you with shoulder and neck tension. uh, should help to release that a little bit. So as these things get stronger, as these structures get stronger and also release tension, it tends to release tension and stress through the rest of the body as well. Um, and then on a more philosophical note, as we practice, right, as we deepen our practice and move through life, you might notice that in times of stress or even in times of relative happiness, it's so common for us to project forward, to look forward, and also equally common for us to look backward and kind of wonder how we got to where we are, make sense of where we are now through looking backward. And even our beautiful yoga mats are created in such a linear shape, right? And in that, right, we're kind of stuck in this rut of continually moving forward and back. And quite honestly, a lot of our practice is learning to expand outward from that. So it's learning to see a larger picture, to gain greater perspective, to see more of the panorama that is around us, and be more inclusive of everything that is arising, whether we are happy to see it or maybe not so happy to see it, but just allowing all things to be as they are, right? This is the practice. We're not practicing to only create happiness. We're not practicing to only escape suffering. We're practicing to understand what it is to be human and what it is to be in this life. And that in and of itself creates a great sense of release and a great sense of ease, right? Understanding, moving out of our ignorance and our habitual patterns. So just things to think about as we move through our practice today. We'll take just a couple of minutes to sit here in the beginning. And then, of course, we'll start just as we have been. So if you don't have a slippery floor, then grab a blanket or a towel so you have something to slide around on. And we'll move from there. All right. Go ahead and come to a comfortable seat. And if for you that means that you are on your back, or if for you that means that you're standing or sitting in a chair even, those are wonderful places to be as well. And allow your eyes to close when you feel ready, if you feel ready. Make any minor adjustments to your posture that will just allow you to be a little easier. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. And open the mouth to let go. And take another deep breath in. Open the mouth as you release. And letting the mouth fall closed. Softly beginning to breathe through your nose, if that's possible for you this beautiful spring day. And at first, just noticing whatever is very apparent, whatever is very present for you. That might be a sensation in the body, it might be a little agitation in the mind, or a really strong thought pattern. It might be total ease and comfort. And very gently begin to invite a slight smile in the corners of the eyes. You might gently bring that slight smile just to the corners of the mouth. And notice how that gently broadens the upper palate and releases the back of the throat, letting the ears feel a little wider as well. And we'll soften the shoulders, allow the arms to rest and to hang. And inviting that sense of width now down into the heart space. So as you're breathing, you feel the sides move out into the arms. Feel the back body expand behind you. And allow the sternum to naturally rise and fall. Gently feeling the belly accept your breath as well. So without pushing, without manipulating, just noticing. The breath moving forward and back. And however subtle, the sides of the waist expanding outward. Letting all of the points of contact, whatever's touching the ground, settle in just a little deeper, like you're sitting in sand. Pausing and allowing yourself to be right here. Allowing yourself to notice the present sensations, the present thoughts, the present undulations of the mind, the body. Join our palms. Bow the chin. And if you'd like to join me for the sound of Om, take a deep breath in. Gently releasing arms, allowing your eyes to open. And then have your blanket or your towel. Spread it wide on your mats. And come to lie down on your back. And just starting in Shavasana. Let the arms drop. Let the legs drop. And just feeling everything that's on the floor become heavier, right? So you're really allowing yourself to be here in this pause. And go ahead and bring your feet hip distance apart, more or less. It doesn't have to be perfect. And flex your feet so the toes point up towards the ceiling. And very simply, go ahead and just reach your right heel a little longer away from your hips than your left. And take an in breath. And then exhale as you release that. And on your next in breath, reach your left heel a little farther away. And exhale as you release. Good, so you're just moving side to side, kind of mimicking the sensation of walking very slowly. Just inhaling, pressing one heel forward. And exhaling to release. And moving at your own pace. There's no rush, there's nowhere to be. You might begin to feel how each heel is connected to the back of each leg. You might notice how the legs are connected to the hips and the sensation of the hips being connected to the low back region and the spine. You might notice how, as you press one foot away, the opposite hip lifts a little bit or grounds into the floor. And you're just noticing whatever happens for you. I'm concerned with how it looks, if you're doing it right, just exploring your body. So next time you come back to the center, go ahead and bring your arms alongside your ears. And we'll continue the same movement, but as your fingertips stretch to the wall behind you, you'll stretch the same fingertips away from the center as you're stretching the heel away from the center. So right heel stretches away, right fingertips stretch away. And then you exhale and let go. And left heel stretches away, left fingertips stretch away. And let go. Again, just continuing to move really, really simple movements. Want to talk about functional movements? Here it is. The most functional, just walking, just understanding how the body moves when it walks. And next time you come back through the center, go ahead and release your arms. Go ahead and let your feet turn out to the sides and just pause for a brief moment. And now we'll keep the left leg as it is, keep the arms as they are, but go ahead and bend your right knee to the side, and almost like you're brushing your right foot along the inseam of your yoga pants. Right, so go ahead and brush it up towards the inner thigh. And then we'll turn the knee up towards the ceiling, foot to the floor, and lengthen the leg out. Good. And again, we'll just continue with that side. So bend the right knee, knee to the side, brush the inner foot into that inseam, and then lengthen the leg back out. Just doing this a few times, noticing what's here. And often we're so used to, in this movement, pushing, like trying to be somewhere with it, trying to turn the leg out more, or trying to do whatever it is we're trying to do. Right now, we're just trying to feel. And next time that right leg is long, go ahead and switch sides. Bending your left knee to the left, brushing the inseam or the sole of that foot on the inseam of the pants, and then turning the left knee towards the ceiling, sole of the foot to the ground, and lengthening the leg back out. So not only are you feeling the sensation of external rotation of the leg at the hip, right? You are also feeling the transition from external rotation to neutral. So just moving slowly. Again, there's no rush. From what I can see, everybody looks like they're doing perfectly. Maybe just one or two more on that side. Maybe starting to feel the outer hip, or even the hip flexors working a bit. And next time both legs are long, leave them long. Let yourself pause again in Shavasana. Noticing any heat or cool, vibration, tingling, sense of heaviness or lightness. Let's go ahead and bend our knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And just leave your arms down by your sides. It's a very, very simple version of a movement we've been doing a lot. On your in-breath, go ahead and increase the arch of your back, trying to reach the belly button to the sky. And you'll feel the back of your neck maybe even lengthen out. And then as you exhale, draw navel towards the spine, tilt the pelvis a little more posteriorly. You'll feel the neck move into extension. Good. Inhale, increase that lumbar curve, arching the back, and exhale, round the spine towards the floor. And feel the neck move as well. So you're just letting your body rock as naturally as possible. Almost as though you're encouraging that cerebrospinal fluid to move all the way from the sacrum through the spine, circulating up through the brain and then back down. You don't need to manipulate anything. You don't have to try too hard, just really small movements. So you might start to get in the feet involved just a little bit more. Maybe pushing towards the balls of the feet as you arch the spine and pressing into the heels a little bit more as you round the back towards the floor. Trying to activate those arches a bit. And next time you come back to neutral, go ahead and pause in neutral. And very, very simply, reach your arms out to the side, and then we'll just bend the elbows into goalpost arms or cactus arms. And if that's a little too much on the shoulders, just bring the elbows a little closer to the sides of the waist, just so this is pretty comfortable. All right? And we'll go ahead and let the knees drop over to the left. Nice. Take an in-breath here. And then exhale, come back through the center. Nice. Inhale, take your knees over to the right. So it's a smaller twist, right? It's a really small twist. And exhale, come back through the center. We want to introduce more volume in that twisted shape. Knees fall to the left. Let the in-breath move into the right lung, right side of the waist. And exhale as you come back to center. And letting knees fall over to the right. Inhaling into the left lung, left QL, left lat, left outer hip. And exhaling back to the center. And just continue with that. Knees fall to the left. Inhaling. Now start to press down through that outer edge of the right elbow. And exhale as you come back to center. And let the knees fall to the right. And maybe exploring pressing down through the outer edge of the left elbow. This time as the knees fall to the left, press to the feet. Try to pull that outer right arch up. Feel the curve in the low back. And exhale, come back through center. Nice. Let your knees fall to the right. And pull up through the outer edge of the left foot, arch into your back. And come all the way back through center. Very nice. Lengthen your legs. Bring arms down by your sides. Pause. Just noticing. Right? Letting the breath be as the breath is. Allowing awareness to expand to include the whole body. And in the next breath or two or three, whenever it is good for you, bend your knees again. And this time we'll reach our arms out to the sides. And cross the right leg on top of the left. So you have crossed legs, just like you're hanging out on the couch, eating potato chips, watching Fargo, or whatever your show of choice is. And then we'll take our knees and drop them over to the right. Let an in-breath come. So this is just building on what we've already done. Press out, reach out through that left arm. And come back through center. And we'll just do a few passes like this first. So inhaling, letting these drop to the right, reach to the left with the left arm. And exhale to come back through center. Again, you might continue moving back and forth like this. If you're ready to pause, or if it would feel good for you to pause with your knees dropped to the right, let your knees stay dropped to the right. And take a few breaths there. Feel what it would feel like to allow the lungs to be receptive to a little more volume. Over and to the left, do the ribs move? Does the low back move? Does the belly move? And really allowing these movements to be as undirected as possible, right? So once you start moving in that direction, let there be some spontaneity. And that might be hanging out somewhere, it might be playing around, adding a little extra back arch. Might be noticing how the head moves or letting the head move side to side or one direction or the other. Just really letting there be an unwinding. All of these fibers, muscles, connective tissue, everything sliding, gliding, free to move in a spontaneous way. And letting yourself come back through the center, unwinding the legs. And cross your left leg on top of your right. And then go ahead and allow your knees to drop over to the left. Over to the left. And as your knees drop over to the left, we'll reach to the right. And then exhaling, coming back to center. And if you find it helpful, sometimes if I'm feeling really sticky here, which this is one of the spots that I personally get pretty sticky in, I like to just do a few really easy passes in and out. And then as you're ready to pause in certain places, so whether that's with the knees all the way to the left, you might pause and take a few breaths, 2 or 3 breaths. Just give yourself a little more time to feel into some of these areas. If your head spontaneously begins to roll one way or the other, allow that to happen. This is a part of your practice. This is cultivating an element in your practice and in your daily life of just allowing things to unfold. Which reflexively, in times of stress or difficulty or challenge, or even just programmed for a lot of us, is really difficult to do. So as you come back through the center and you're ready for a pause, we'll unwind the legs, lengthen the arms, lengthen the legs, and let yourself pause in Shavasana. Maybe noticing any change in the quality of breath. Noticing any change through what we can perceive of the nervous system, right? Tingling and vibration, a sense of ease or calm. And we'll reach the right arm alongside the right ear. Go ahead and turn to the right. And then just pause here on your side. Go ahead and lengthen your legs long. Okay, rest your arm or rest your head right on that right arm. And then, as it's possible for you, reach your left arm alongside your ear as well. So you're in a really long side stretch. Okay, and then notice the tendency for the head to drop forward a lot or for the hips to reach back a lot. And this is a common tendency anytime we're on our side. Okay, so that we just know that. And then from here, go ahead and try and reach your left heel just a little bit longer than your right heel. And reach your right fingertips, left fingertips, just a little bit longer than the right fingertips. You take a couple of breaths like that, and we'll just relax. Stay on the side. And you can go ahead and bend that bottom knee just a little bit. And from here, we'll bend the left knee. Try to curl the left knee towards the chest a little bit. And you can even bring that left elbow down to meet the left knee. So almost like a side crunch. And then inhale, return to your starting position, stretching that heel away, stretching the fingertips away. And exhale again, that little on your side unilateral crunch. And then inhale. Nice, returning back to center. So this returning back to the elongated state, that's where we want to focus. That's where we want to spend a breath or two. And just one more time on the side. And we'll go ahead and relax, transition onto your back, let the legs be long, let the arms reach down by your sides, pause. And reaching the left arm now alongside the left ear. Beautiful, rolling onto that left side and pausing here, just finding almost your balance point, right? Just noticing the tendency for the head to drop forward, for the shoulders to drop forward, for the hips to almost try and pike or reach back behind you. And then we'll reach that right arm alongside the ear. And now reach through your right heel, press it away from you, and at the same time, reach to the right fingertips. Take a big in-breath. And then as you exhale, just relax. And again, we'll inhale, just stretch really, really long, heel and fingertips reaching away. And then go ahead and relax. So just on your side. One more time, reach the right heel, right fingertips really long. Nice big side stretch, and then gently relaxing. Go ahead and bend that bottom knee a little bit just to give you more stability. And we'll bend the right knee, pull that knee towards the chest, right elbow towards that knee. And then inhale and stretch really long. Heel reaches away. Good. Breathing into the side waist. And exhaling as you come back to the center. So you're just noticing, and let there be some spontaneity here, right? Just as the cats stroll across the screen unexpectedly, let yourself just notice whatever's present, whatever's here, whatever arises. Nice. And one last time, go ahead and stretch really long. And this time we'll transition onto our bellies. So come onto your stomach. Then just bend your elbows, forehead to the back of the hands, toes untucked. Taking a few deep breaths into the belly. You might notice now that being in this position makes it a little easier for you to notice the sensation of breath moving into the back body, moving into the side body. Go ahead and just keep your upper body as it is. Bend both of your knees. And you might need to take your knees just a little bit wider than hip distance. And we'll go ahead and drop your right foot to meet the inner left ankle. And then you'll just brush it down the inside. So you might need to widen your knees. Right? So we're just brushing the inseam of the leg. And then as you come back up to the center, take your left foot over to the inner ankle of the right foot and drop down, brush the inseam of your leg there. Good. So you're getting the sense of the hips moving, right, in this pretty natural way. Go ahead and you're just brushing side to side. You might notice that it's been difficult for you to get in to get a pedicure recently. That's okay. Good. So it's important to have that brushing, the foot brushing the skin, brushing the pant leg, right? Encouraging a bit of lymphatic flow, a little lymphatic return. And next time you come back through the center, relax your legs and bring your knees back to hip distance. Let the toes release and just pause. Now we'll tuck the toes under, just as we've been doing. Lengthen back through the heels. Feel the knees lift away from the floor. Feel the hip points press down into the floor. And then on your in-breath, go ahead and curl the spine, lengthening the sternum forward. And can you even here find a little more length between the outer edge of the armpit and the outer hips? And then exhale, go ahead and release down. Nice, just keeping toes tucked under, keeping knees lifted if you can. Inhale, we'll float back up into that bhujangasana, that little cobra. Heels reaching, opening up the back body, thighs lifting, belly reaching, sternum reaching, opening front body. And then also feeling side bodies. Just pause here. And then go ahead and exhale as you let go. And just one more time. Go ahead, lead yourself towards a bhujangasana if that feels good to you. You might also start to pull the elbows back a little bit. You might start to curl the shoulder blades into the back. broadening the collarbones, letting go of the neck. And when you feel ready, go ahead and relax all the way down. Untuck the toes, pause on the belly, take a big breath into the sides of the waist, the low back, upper back, and fully release. And keeping the head really low, go ahead and use your hands and arms to help you transition into a child's pose. So shifting the hips back towards the heels. Let the head, let the neck stay really relaxed. And take your time getting there. There's no rush at all. Oh, nice. Just feeling the connection of forehead to the floor or towards the floor. Starting to stretch your arms out long if they're not already there. And so reaching hands away from you. We'll walk our hands over to the left. So just leaving the hips parked as they are. Walk your hands over to the left and really strongly even crawl your right fingertips just a little further away. Good. And take a few breaths. You're almost in like a side bend through the right side of the waist. Hands walked over to the left. Breathing into the right side of the waist. Feel the connection between the arms and the side. Right? The arms lengthening out of the low back. And on your in-breath, come back through the center. And we'll walk our hands over to the right. Reach the left fingertips long, pull a little farther away. And then as though somebody is pulling back through your left hip crease, imagine that sensation. So you're getting a little longer through that whole left side of the body. We can start to feel how the arms extend all the way from the sides of the waist, all the way from the center. On your in-breath, we'll come back through the center. Walk your hands a little back, and then just slowly, slowly, all the way from the tailbone, articulate, roll up one vertebrae at a time, and take your time. Take your time. Take several breaths. 5 breaths to do it. Letting the neck start to lengthen, letting the head come up very last. Pausing here. And go ahead and fold up your blanket as you're ready. And make your way into downward facing dog. So just notice 2 hands on the ground, 2 feet on the ground, right? Hands are at least shoulder distance apart. They might even be a little bit wider. And for today, take a look at your fingertips. So everybody look up, look at your fingertips. See that the index finger points to the top of the mat. And then notice how that makes your wrist creases parallel to the top edge of the mat. We're gonna go ahead and bend your knees. So we're deprioritizing the legs for the moment. And from there, stretch all the way through the fingertips, lengthen the arms, feel the sides of the waist grow longer, like you're trying to pull those hip creases up and back behind you. And then maintaining all of that length. Actually now root the thighs up and back. And just by prioritizing those actions, the legs will start to lengthen. Let the heels drop towards the floor naturally. Take another deep breath here, filling sides of the waist. And we'll bring the knees down to the floor. Pause here. And just to kind of echo a little of the work we did last week, last Wednesday, go ahead and lengthen the right leg behind you. Reach your left arm long alongside your ear. Good. And then imagine this is on a diagonal. So can the space between the left fingertips and the right heel become longer? And the space between the right shoulder and the left outer hip become longer? Good. And can you keep that kidney band broad and lifted so the low back is nice and broad? And then exhale as you release. Right knee to the floor, left hand to the floor. Inhale, lengthen the left leg behind you, right arm alongside the right ear. Then again, imagine this on a diagonal, so the right fingertips are pulling away from that left heel. At the same time, the left shoulder is drawing away from that outer right hip. Good. One more in breath. And then exhale to release. Good. Right leg reaches behind, left arm alongside the left ear. Exhale. Looking so nice. Good. Release knee to the floor, hand to the floor. Left leg nice and long, right arm alongside the right ear. Pause. And then exhale. Good. Knee to the floor, hand to the floor. Again, reach the right leg behind, left arm alongside the ear. And this time we'll take the right leg to the right. Take the left arm to the left. So just feel that lateral line, right? So now this part of the waist is contracting. Can you still keep it long? Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to release, knee and hand to the floor. And then left leg behind, right arm long. Good. Take your left leg to the left, right arm to the right. Try to keep that diagonal really long on both axes. And then exhale, back to center, release down. So just one more time like that. Left arm, right leg. Reach to the side, so feel that abduction, abduction. And then back to the center. Release down. Good. Right arm, left leg. And then out to the side. Good. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Toes should be pointed down, guys. Down, guys. So feel the outer hip. And then all the way back to center. And release down. So let's try it one more time. So right leg reaches up, left arm alongside the ear. Good. With the toes pointed down, take the leg over to the right. Good. So it's not going to be a huge movement. Make the movement smaller. Localize it to the outer hip. And then back through center. Good. Knee down. Left leg up, right arm up. Good. Keep the toes pointed down. Make it a smaller movement. Take the leg over to the left. Feel that outer hip work. And then come back to center. Release down. Nice. Downward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Hips reach up and back. Nice. You might pedal the feet. Give your head a little shake. Yes or no. Really simply, step your right foot forward between your hands. Nice. If you would like to have blocks under your hands, this is a good place to have blocks. If you don't have blocks available, that's fine too. Keep the left knee lifted. Good. Really simply pressing through the foot. We'll inhale and lengthen the right leg. Good. Move slowly. And then exhale as you bend the knee. Nice. Again, inhale, lengthen that leg. Try to keep the right side of the waist long. Exhale to bend the knee. Good. So just moving back and forth. Inhale, lengthen the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Good. Last time, inhale, lengthen the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Good. Inhale, lengthen the right leg. Then turn the left heel to the floor so the toes are turned out about 45 degrees. This is a good spot to check and see that you're about heel to arch or heel to heel for some people. Walk your right hand or hand and block back so it's underneath your shoulder. And then right hand to the right hip. Right hand or left hand to the left hip. Sorry. On your in-breath, go ahead and turn your chest. Nice. Can you feel that same length through the right side of the leg, the right leg lengthening as though you're still doing that action of pressing down to straighten the leg from a lunge. Good. We'll reach the left arm up. And then reach that left arm alongside the ear. Good. From here, can you make the space between your right shoulder, your right armpit, and your right hip crease longer? At the same time, can you make the space between the left hip and the left shoulder longer? Okay. So really long. Focus on the bottom side of the waist, right? Bottom side of the waist. Make that part longer. That's where we often sacrifice for look. And then inhale as you lengthen that left arm up. Good. Press to the right palm. Spiral the chest towards that side wall. Good. One last in-breath here. Exhale as you release. Hands down, bend the knee. Step all the way back to plank. And pause in plank. Good. In plank, see that your shoulders are right above the wrist. If not, wrists are a little bit forward of the shoulders, okay? That will make your wrists happier in the long run. And we pause here. Can you find that same length? Left shoulder to the right hip. Right shoulder to the left hip. Thighs reaching up, heels reaching back. One last in-breath. Exhale to downward facing dog. Nice. Should feel like a nice relief here. And we'll step that left foot forward. Right knee stays high. Go ahead and grab your blocks if you're using blocks, which is nice in this position. And a few times, we'll just inhale, press through the foot, slowly straighten, almost like there's resistance, straighten that left leg. And then exhale as you bend the knee. Good. Inhale with resistance. Move really slowly. Start to straighten that leg. And exhale, bend the knee. Inhale twice more. This last time, as you lengthen your leg, go ahead and pause there. Just feel the connection of the foot, feel the strength of the leg. Turn the right heel down so that the right toes point out 45-ish degrees. See your alignment, front heel to the back arch or heel. And then left hand to the block, right hand to your right hip. All right. And then before doing anything else, right? So here we are kind of in like a partial Utthita Trikonasana. Imagine that outer right hip and your left or outer left hip and your left shoulder, your left armpit could straighten apart, like they could stretch even longer. And then imagine that could happen to the right hip as well. So outer right hip, right armpit. Good. And then we'll inhale, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling and let that do the movement of opening the chest to the side. Turn your palm to the front of the room, arm alongside the ear, and just get super, super long here. Now, even with this increased load, right, of having that arm long, lengthen the left side of the waist. Left side of the waist long, left leg long, resisting the ground. Super nice. Keep that. Keep all of that strength. Inhale as you reach the right arm up. Good. Press to the left hand. Get broader here. And then exhale as you bring hands to the floor. Now blocks to the side. Step back to plank. Pause. Nice. Check to see that wrists are in line with the shoulders, if not a tiny bit forward of the shoulders. Sides of the waist are long. You're still able to breathe into the side ribs. This should be a pretty efficient pose. Could you guys hang out here for a while? It looks like it. And then shift forward towards the toes. Bend your elbows. Lower chaturanga. Nice. All the way to the floor. Untuck your toes. Inhale to a little back bend. Nice. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale. Go ahead and step whichever foot forward. Doesn't matter. I'm going to have Laura step her left foot forward. Turn so you're facing the side of your mat. And then turn the toes out. Bend your knees and come into a nice wide squat. Like a goddess pose, a temple pose. Beautiful. We're going to pause here for a moment and lift up so that the shoulders are right above the hips. And take the arms wide. Cross the elbows, left elbow underneath the right. Come into Garudasana arms. Okay. Pause here. So you're just building a little bit of tapas, a little bit of heat, fire. Keep sending the outer legs back. So as the outer knee moves back, you feel the outer hip turn on, right? Take another breath like this. And we'll inhale, take the arms wide. Good. Press out to the sides. Lengthen your legs. Good. Turn the toes to face forward. And hands to your hips as you exhale. Fold forward into Prasarita Padottanasana. So imagine this is like downward facing dog and bend your knees just a little bit. Send the tops of the thighs back. Hug the outer hips in, outer ankles hugging in. And then let go of the neck, let go of the head. Let yourself be heavy through the upper body. We'll bring hands back to the hips. Bend the knees a little. Come all the way up to stand. Turn the toes out again. Bend your knees. Take the arms out to the side and then right elbow under the left. Garudasana arms. Nice. Lift the elbows up. Press the forearms away. Good. And as the elbows lift up, the thighs reach down. Tops of the thighs reach down. Turn your legs on even more. Send the outer knees back behind you. And as you do that, root down through the big toe mound of the feet. Okay. Can you let this breath move into the sides of the waist? And inhale as you rise, release your arms. And hands to your hips. Turn the toes parallel. Good. One in breath here. Exhale as you fold. Good. We'll bring both hands over onto the right shin, right ankle, right foot, really whatever your anatomy allows you to hold onto. Okay? Everybody's proportions are different. Okay. We'll leave this right leg more or less straight. Bend your left knee a little bit. And then inhale, lengthen the leg. Try to coax a little more length out of the side body and the left. Again, we'll bend the left knee. Your neck can be relaxed. Eyes can be soft. Inhale as you lengthen the leg. Coax a little more length through the left side body. All right, one more time. Good. Release to the center. Take a moment. Take a breath. And we'll walk our hands over to the left. And so holding on to the left shin, the thigh, the foot. Make sure that right hand is holding on to the front, right? So that you can see the back of that palm. And then we'll leave the left leg straight. Let the neck relax. Bend your right knee. Good. And as you inhale and coax the top of that thigh back, a little more length through the right side of the waist. Nice. So you're just coaxing even the tiniest bit. This is such great work for a lymphatic system, such great work for the immune system. And also really, really nice to open up the lungs. Okay. And gently release, come back to the center. So walk your hands around whatever was your front foot when you stepped forward. Step all the way back to downward facing dog. Good. We'll step the right foot forward between the hands. Nice. Again, nice place to have a block if you tend to use a block. Turn your left heel to the floor. And block underneath the right hand if you're using a block. Okay. Good. Keep the right knee bent, knee right above the ankle. Good. Right hand to the block on the outside of the leg today, if that's possible for you. If not, elbow to knee, hand to the shin, or arm to the inside of the leg. Good. And on your exhalation, we'll go ahead and turn and open the chest, just like we did for Utthita Trikonasana. Okay, so imagine so many things going on here in this pose. As that right foot presses down, hug the outer right hip in. Right, so the right knee presses out, outer right hip presses in. You know how to do that. Right hand presses down. Okay. And then we turn the chest. So there's a little bit of a twist. Inhale as you reach the right arm up. Good. And now, before we do anything else, can you make the space between the right hip crease and the right armpit a little bit longer? Good. Turn the palm to face the front of the room. Arm alongside the ear. Stay long through both sides of the waist. Don't just prioritize the top waist. Both sides of the waist. With your back leg, send that thigh back just a little bit more. This is Utthita Konasana, extended side angle pose. Look to the floor. Walk your right hand forward. Reach that left arm up and transition into Ardha Chandrasana. This is triangle pose, turned on its side a little bit. Okay, a little bend through the right knee. Good. And then imagine like you're still doing that little press to try and make your way from a lunge to a straight leg. So you're activating that leg. And then from there, lengthen right side of the waist. Good. Lift outer edge of that left leg just a little higher. Nice. Press through that left arm. Get long through the wingspan. Very nice. Breathe. Good. Bend your right knee. Step all the way back, downward facing dog. Nice. On your in-breath, come forward to a plank pose. Good. Walk your right hand just a little bit in front of your right shoulder. Okay. This keeps your arms actually level. All right. And then for some of you, you might bring the knee down, the right knee to the floor. For others of you, you'll keep it high. Rotate to the outer edge of that right foot. Left leg stacks on top, come to Vashisthasana. So for some of you, this is a really hard pose. For others of you, this is old hat, right? For those of you for whom this is a difficult pose, that's okay. Be with the difficulty of it. It is a hard pose. For those of you for whom this is just, you've been practicing it a long time, find more nuance. Lengthen that bottom side of the waist, right? So you're not arcing up into the top. Both sides of the waist are equally long. This is a side plank pose. Send the head back a little bit. Send the hips forward a little bit. And take another breath. It's so much harder to hold this pose than it is to flow in and out of it a bunch of times. One last breath. Hand to the floor. downward facing dog. Nice pedaling feet, shaking the head, doing whatever it is that you need to do. And then as you're ready, step the left foot forward. And turn the right heel to the floor. Grab that block, if you have a block, underneath the left hand, wrist under the shoulder, ankle underneath the knee. Good. And then pause here for a moment. Okay. And as you're setting up, imagine now that as that left knee is bending, you're also sucking that outer left hip back, left outer knee pressing into the arm. Good. And then right hand to the hip. Start to turn and open the chest, just like Utthita Trikonasana. Right? It's like the big brother of Utthita Trikonasana, or the cousin. Right? So as you here get longer through that bottom side waist, it's really easy to shrink there, especially as we start challenging how deep flexion we have in the hip. Send the right thigh back. Now that you know where we're going, the legs have such a huge role in Vashisthasana in these poses. And then right arm turns, reach the arm alongside the ear. Extended side angle, Utthita Parshvakonasana. Can you keep your breath just as integrated, just as voluminous as you did when you were doing all of that work on the floor? Right? Advanced practice isn't about being able to do the poses. It's not about being able to nail it, get the picture of it. It's about being able to find the same ease in that we find sitting on the mat. And look to the floor. Walk your left hand forward. Right arm reaches towards the ceiling. One or two or many steps, it doesn't really matter. Make your way to Ardha Chandrasana. Good. And then just to make this a little more challenging, bend your left knee a little. As your left knee bends, try to milk a little more length as you press the foot, send the top of the thigh back. Is that left side waist just as long as the right? And can that outer right ankle lift up just a little higher so you can feel the outer hip? Another breath. Get big, get wide and broad. Beautiful. And bend the knee. Step all the way back to plank. If you're in downward facing dog because you're a reasonable human being, come forward to plank. And then we'll walk the left hand just a little bit forward. Forward, not in. There you go. Roll to the outer edge of that left foot or drop the knee down. And make your way to your version of Vashisthasana, or side plank pose. Okay? So if the knee's down, that's great. Stay there. Work on lengthening the space between the left shoulder and the left waist. And if the leg is up, then that's great too. Go ahead and reach that top arm high. Can you find that same length? We've been in this position so many times in this class already, right? Can you lengthen the top side of the body? And then also lengthen the bottom side of the body. Can you send the head back a little bit and send the hips forward a little bit? And then notice for everybody, the tendency is to let the top hip roll backward behind you. Right? So bring it level with the bottom. Take one last breath here. And then hand to the floor. Downward facing dog. On your in-breath, go ahead and come high on the toes. Bend your knees, look between the hands, and walk, step, or hop feet to hands. Pause here in a forward fold. You can hold opposite elbows. Bend your knees. Sway a little side to side. Both are totally fine. All right. Now release your arms and go ahead and roll all the way up to stand. Very good. Samastitihi. So feet hip distance in parallel. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Turn the leg out from the hip. Right foot to the inner left ankle, calf, or thigh. Anywhere in that area is totally fine. Use your right hand to help you, as Laura is showing very well. Okay. So the right leg is the thing that seems like we should be focused on it, right? And it is important, it's there. But imagine now that the outer left hip is hugging in a little bit more. So as we find a little more stability here, can you find a little more length between the right top hip and the right shoulder? And reach the arms to the side. Nice, get wide, get broad, expand outward. And good, leave your left hand as it is. Bring your right hand down. Find the big toe of that right foot. And to any extent, whether that's keeping that knee bent or starting to lengthen it out, make your way towards Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana 2. It's a difficult pose, especially without a strap. Right? Good. Outer left hip in. Inhale. Bend the knee. Vrikshasana tree pose. Pause if you can. Pause if you can. It's a difficult transition. You guys are doing great. And then feet to the floor. Relax the arms. Samastitihi. Just feel the sense of your feet on the floor. Bringing your weight onto your right foot. Bend your left knee. Turn the left leg out from the hip. Left foot to the inner calf, inner ankle, inner thigh. The height really does not matter. Okay? All right. So finding stability there. Focusing outer right hip in. And a little more length between the top of the left hip and the left armpit. And then arms reach to the side. And then to the extent that you can, and you're welcome to stay here in Vrikshasana or tree pose. Reach down with your left hand. Find the big toe. And then as you're ready, to whatever extent, start to lengthen that leg to the left. Right? The work of the stability, the work of the challenge is the thing that's most important. Where does the mind go in this? Right? What are the tendencies in the body? What are tendencies in the mind? Super nice. And then slowly, slowly, can you transition back to Vrikshasana? Pause, one in breath. And then exhale as you release. Samastitihi, pausing, settling, being here. And on your in-breath, we'll reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Nice, fingertips to the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine, feel the back body. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back to plank. I suspect a lot of you thought this might be coming. Step your right hand a little bit forward. Roll to the outer edge of the right foot. You can also keep the knee down. You can do any of the previous versions. Then from here, brush the left foot along the inseam of the right leg. Left arm reaching high. This is one version of Vashisthasana. If you'd like to reach down with your first two fingers on that left hand, find the big toe. Vashisthasana 2 or B. Good. So keep that little top waist really long. Keep the bottom waist really long. And then go ahead and release. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. So nice. Just pausing, feeling the echo. We get used to compounding complexity and compounding challenge, right? Almost as a way of avoiding what it actually feels like. And inhale as you come forward towards plank. Left hand walks a little forward, right? That just keeps your shoulder in a safer position. Go to the outer edge of left foot or the knee down. And then any version of this, so pausing in Vashisthasana, starting to come into Vashisthasana with Vrikshasana, or reaching down for the big toe, and to whatever extent, beginning to lengthen up. Okay, so notice that top hip, for those of you who have your leg in Vashisthasana or Vashisthasana B, notice that top hip is rolling back. Send it forward. Send it forward, send it forward, send it forward, send the head back. Good, hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Good, so nice. Just one big in-breath here. Open mouth, exhale. Bring your right knee forward behind your right wrist, right ankle behind the left. The crowd pleaser, half pigeon pose. Go ahead and walk your hands forward. Allow yourself to be comfortable here. If that means having a block under that right hip or a blanket, super good. Do that. If this is not available to you, right, a great option for any number of reasons is ankle to knee on your back. And if that's a lot for your neck, a little block under the head is always a nice option. All right, if you would like to stay here, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, a really nice alternative or addition to this can sometimes be a twist. So we'll just bend the right elbow, bring the right fingertips to the floor, right hand to the floor. Bend your left elbow, bring the left forearm to the floor. Good, and then inhale as you lift up just a little. Good, so staying really long. Inhale, lengthen sides of the waist. And then exhale, just a minor twist. So for those of you who have SI stuff going on, you know who you are. I know who you are. Be really, really mild with this. Just another breath. Imagine all of the viscera, all of the stuff down in the low belly squeezing. And then exhale as you let that go. Very nice. Downward facing dog, one way or another. Maybe pedaling the feet, maybe lifting a leg up. Just doing what you need to do and then letting there be pause, letting there be moment. When you're ready, bring your left knee forward, left knee behind the left wrist, left ankle behind the right. Allowing yourself to move into your enjoyably challenging half pigeon pose. If you decide to be on your back, left ankle to the right knee. There's the tendency for that left hip to hike towards the left side of the waist. And if nothing else, right, you don't have to over effort. Just let your breath move there, especially. And while the tendency is to allow the mind to either focus on the most obvious thing, which might be the sensation in the outer left hip, or it might be some sort of narrative happening in your brain right now, notice the sensations of the body, right? So notice more of what's happening. You might have kids or cats walking around you. You might have cars starting outside of whatever building you're in. Whatever it is, allow that to be as it is, and also notice what you're doing right now. Those of you who want to stay here for another couple of breaths, feel free. Otherwise, we'll come onto the forearms, bring the left fingertips to the side, right forearm to the floor, and then just go ahead and lift up enough that from your center you can find a pretty mild twist, okay? This isn't going to be huge, but it is going to feel a little bit different than our normal twists. So as you're coaxing yourself into it, let your breath almost release a little bit more. So you've done all the work of relaxing the structures that are involved in this. From the inside out, let the breath move the spine a little bit. Let the breath encourage greater space. And we'll go ahead and release. Make your way back to downward facing dog, doing whatever it is you need to do. And go ahead, bring your knees down to the mat. Spin around onto your seat. You may want to grab that blanket to sit on just for one final seated twist. So with legs nice and long, you are welcome to stay here, as in keeping this left leg long. Otherwise, bend your right knee. But you can stay here too, so there's many different options, or cross that leg over. Bend your left knee if you'd like to. Come to Ardha Matsyendrasana, so left arm makes a little coat hanger around this front knee. Right fingertips behind. And on your in-breath, lift nice and tall. Feel the sides of the waist lengthen. And then exhale as you turn and twist. And then if for you, it would feel good to maybe bring that left arm to the inside of the left leg, top of the left leg, feel free. Shoulders nice and soft. Head looking back, looking forward, or maybe rotating forward and back. That's a really nice way to do this pose too. Sitting up nice and tall so you feel shoulder blades hugging into the back, just like a little bit of a back bend. When you're in breath, go ahead and look forward if you're not already. And exhale as you unwind. And lengthen your legs if they're not already long. We'll bend the left knee, cross the foot over. Bend the right knee, cross the foot over. It's so good Laura's here. And then go ahead, bring yourself back in this position. Right arm coat hangers around the right knee. Lift up nice and tall. Drop that outer left hip down. It tends to hike up a lot. And then exhale as you turn and twist. Okay, so even though it seems like the spine is the only thing doing anything in this pose, the whole body's involved, right? The legs are rooted and heavy. The hips are rooted and heavy. And as the side waist accept the breath, then we allow that to move into the spine a little bit more. It allows us to turn just a little bit more without cranking, with ease, with lightness. On your in-breath, look back to center if you're not already looking that way. Release your arms, release your legs. Nice, come onto your back. Blanket to the side. And we'll simply hug knees towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And feet to the floor. Nice. Lengthen one leg at a time. And we'll bring arms down by the sides. And make any little minor adjustments you might make, like reaching one heel a little further away. Tucking each shoulder blade lightly under. And let eyes closed. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth and exhale. Just letting enough be enough. If you have time for a longer Shavasana, please feel free to stay here. Continue to soak in the efforts of your practice. Otherwise, we'll gently begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle fingers and wiggle toes. Lick your lips, maybe swallow to clear your throat. And then gently transition to one side, however that works for you. Slowly, slowly make your way all the way up to seated. I'll pause here for a moment. You might just take a moment to notice if it feels like the cumulative effect of your practice has allowed you to access a slightly more peaceful place, a more equanimous place. It's good things to notice. Often we don't. And we join the palms, bow the chin. Thank you so much for your practice today. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste, Court.
Namaste to you. Namaste to you. Thanks, guys. As always, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that comes up in practice or that we're doing in here or in your own practice, I am here, I'm available, and so happy to help out, at least to help point you to other resources if I don't have the answer that you're looking for. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope to see you on Wednesday. It'll be our last class in Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday. How exciting. And then we move to Providence, which I think will be entertaining, at least for the ability to sit on the porch and chat with people who walk by. I think it'll be nice. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. From the bottom of my heart, I really, really am so appreciative that you are here, and to me that's so encouraging. As I kind of rework stuff and figure out how to articulate the things that are really important to me about this practice. And I just am so touched by all of your encouragement and all of your support. So thank you. It means the world to me, and it really keeps me engaged with my own practice and keeps me engaged with the practice of teaching. And so for that, I am so, so thankful to all of you. So thank you.